What's up guys, back again with another video today, and we're going to be talking about kick drums. That's right. Have you ever heard a song and you hear the kick and you're listening to it and you're like, dang, that's actually a really nice kick drum. I really like the punch, I like the knock, I really like the low end. Whatever it may be, you're like, damn, I wish I could use that kick in my song. Well, now you can, and I'm going to show you how. Let's get into it. What's up guys, so we are here inside the session. I got my track. So basically how this is going to work is you get your track and throw it in your DAW, right? And then it helps if you know what the BPM is so you can line it up exactly to the grid. So for this song, I know that the BPM is 122 exactly. So I got it lined up on the grid. And the first thing that you're going to do is basically just try to isolate one of these kicks, right? So if you have like an electronic song or like a house song, if you're listening to the extended version, they'll have an intro or outro where it's usually just drums. So this will be the best place, right? Because you want to go to a spot where there's not a lot of other stuff going on, right? You want to get the cleanest possible sample. So I'm using this song by Calippo. The good thing about Calippo is that he releases a lot of the instrumentals of his tracks, and B, he has these long intros and outros happening where it's just drums, like, you know what I'm talking about? So when you go in here, so let's just isolate this first kick here. So it's right here on the downbeat, right? So we're just gonna isolate this, cut this off, and we can zoom in here to make it easier. So cut off that part. So now we just have this. And obviously you can hear there's like some other hi-hats and stuff happening in there, but that's fine. We can deal with that. But this is a pretty clean sample. And also if you're using Ableton, don't forget to turn off this auto fade at the beginning because you want that full transient. So get rid of that fade and make sure that you extend it so you know that you're getting the full kick drum sound, the full decay of it. Like you don't want to cut it off before it's over with. So you can even go to like the next snare hit just to be safe. Okay, so this is what we got, right? So now what we're gonna do is we're going to isolate this kick into 4 different bands. So to do that, we're going to just duplicate this track 3 times. So now we have 4 tracks, right, of the same kick drum. And what you're going to need for this is something that you can use to isolate different bands. Like, so whether that's a multi-band compressor, EQ. For me, I like to use FabFilter Saturn just because that's like one of the things that I have that can do this and I know how to use it. So put like whatever plugin you're using on each track. So one on each of these tracks. And so how you're going to do it is starting with this first one. This is going to be our sub layer. So first of all, turn off all the saturation and stuff. We don't want any of that. And so we're gonna make some bands, right? And then so for the bands, we're gonna want a sub layer, a low mid, a high mid, and a top layer, basically. So it doesn't really matter what exact frequencies you use, but I like to use these frequencies to isolate it. So this bottom layer is gonna be 140, the sub, 0 to 140. So you can see right here, if you hover over this, it'll tell you what the frequency is. So we're gonna go 0 to 140, and you can actually just type it in. It's faster. So 0 to 140, then we have 140 to 2K, and then we have 2K to 10K and 10K up. So these are your 4 bands, right? So let's just solo this sub band on this layer, right? So all we want is just this. Right, you're getting that sub. And what you can do is just basically fade it down so that all this extra stuff you don't even need. So this kick drum actually has quite a bit of decay in the sub range. So that could be the case for a lot of EDM kicks for sure. So I'm gonna leave that alone. Next, I'm gonna just copy this over to the next layer, and I'm gonna solo this mid band now. So yeah, in this one you can hear there's a lot of other stuff going on that we're gonna need to get rid of. So to get a nice clean kick, we don't need any of this other stuff. So just kind of go in and get it to a point where it sounds nice and clean, right? Cool. So the theme is basically each level that you go up, the more you're going to need to cut out, because a lot of times when kick drums are happening, there's a lot of high frequency information happening in the song as well. And you just don't really need that much in a kick. So you can just cut it out. Like you'll see, the further we go up the frequency spectrum, the more we're gonna cut out. So let's go into this layer now, this high mid layer. I'm gonna copy it over. So now I'm gonna solo this band. And we don't really need any of this stuff. This is just hi-hats and stuff. Like really just that click. That's all we really need. Like if you go longer, you can hear that hi-hat getting in there. So we want it to be as tight and clean as possible. And then finally, sometimes, so for this last layer, there might not be even any, depending on the track that you use, there might not be any high end way up here because most of this stuff is down in the low end, obviously, for a kick drum. But let's just see what's going on. So I'm just gonna solo this top band now. And we don't need any of this stuff. Yeah, it's just gonna be like this tiny little click, right? Yeah, you hear how tiny that is? If you go too long, you'll get the hi-hat stuff coming in. You see this spikiness right here? Don't want that. Just need that little click. So let's just play all these together, see how it sounds real quick. Now we can even make it tighter, I think, like in this mid-range maybe. Cool. Yeah, I like that. So you see how as each layer goes down, it gets smaller and smaller and smaller. Sub, low mid, high mid, and top. So now that you have all these 4 layers split up, right? This is essentially how you layer up your kick. What you can do now is, just to make sure that the sample is clean and not clipping or hitting above 0 and it's just normaled out to a nice level, we can add this transient master here. This is a really good plugin. So we group them all together and add this transient master, and basically now you can put this limit thing on, which essentially clips everything at 0. And also you can further shape the transients by adjusting these attack and sustain things here. So if you want a little bit more punch in the attack, the transient. Yeah, I like that. It's clean. So next thing you want to do is insert another audio track below it and make sure it's outside of the group. And then just set it to resampling up here. Press record. So now you got this kick sample right here. Look at how fat it is. How fat and nice. Damn. And so now you can just drag this into your own sample library and use it in your own tracks and go crazy with it. Have fun, guys. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you guys found this video helpful, please go like and subscribe. It would mean so much to me. Again, thank you guys so much for watching to the end, and I will see you in the next one. Peace out. You